Hello folks, it has been brought to my attention that some of you beautiful perverts enjoy hearing me speak. So this is going to be a commentary heavy episode. I even broke out the old tank top, give you a little extra skin service. You're welcome. Going to learn you something today about Photoshop, a very easy lesson. It has about 3 basic steps. We're going to be talking about the high pass filter in Photoshop, using the high pass filter to easily, quickly, and more importantly, more versatilely sharpen your photos. Now, this works on any type of photograph, especially of use to non-digital shooters, which 90% of my work is film. So if you're a film shooter, you're gonna love the high pass filter for the control it's gonna give you over making those analog pictures look a little more crisp. If you have absolutely zero interest in learning what the high pass filter is, how it works, and why, well, you can skip to right here, and you won't have to listen to it, and you get right down to the steps on how to sharpen your pictures. For the rest of you, if you have 1 or 2 minutes of attention span, the high pass filter, just know it sharpens your photos. It gives you great control over sharpening your photos in Photoshop. You don't have to know really anything about Photoshop to do this, folks. I'm telling you, it's one of the easiest ways to sharpen your pictures around. To be honest, I don't use the high pass filter as much as I personally used to, because the sharpening in, let's say, Lightroom and Lightroom Classic has got so much efficient, much more controllable with the masking and all that. But the high pass filter in Photoshop, in my opinion, is still one of the most versatile ways to sharpen your photos and one of the most effective ways. And I'm going to show you how. It all works on math, the high pass filter. You've went this long without knowing how it works, folks. Don't worry about it. Get on with your life. But just know that Photoshop will run a mathematical algorithm, and it makes the pixels in the high contrast area appear to be sharper. Now, it won't make your picture appear to be clearer, or let's say if you're using the clarity slider in Lightroom or even the dehaze slider in Lightroom, it won't give you that effect that controls mid-range tonal contrast. But this sharpening effect, like I said, let me just show you. So I've got the laptop going here. I'm going to open up a very pretty little color picture in Photoshop of some rocks. Very exciting. And folks, like I said, I know I said this is 3 steps. Let's not be douchey in the comments. You can make this a little more complicated if you want to. I'm not going to show you how to open your pictures in Photoshop. I'm assuming you know how to do that. So like I said, let's all be calm together. So I have our picture opened up here in Adobe Photoshop 2023. And yes, here we are in the foul year of 2025. I have the 2025 version. I keep using 2023. No rhyme or reason. So once the picture is opened up in Photoshop here, you're going to do the first step in sharpening with the high pass filter. You're going to be sure your background layer is selected. You're going to be sure your little eyeball right here is selected. And it doesn't matter if it's locked or unlocked, it's going to be locked by default, but essentially just leave it how it is when it opens up in Photoshop. Next, I want you to use the keyboard shortcut on a Mac, Command J or Control J on a Windows PC, and you will see that duplicates your background layer. This layer 1, you can name it anything you want. I just leave it as layer 1, essentially the only layer we're going to be working with. That's going to be the layer that we apply our high pass filter to, essentially the sharpening layer, so we can go back, add a mask, and selectively sharpen areas of the image. Once you have your background layer copied, you're going up to Filter here at the very top left. Click Filter. We're going down to Other. We're going to High Pass. Shocker. And this brings up our nice, pretty gray relief. You can already see essentially a line drawing of our rocks here, and our little piece of wood. You're going to have something called the radius. The radius is what's going to control essentially the sharpening of the high pass filter. No real rule of thumb per se, but generally the higher resolution your camera sensor, the higher resolution your scan, essentially the higher resolution the actual digital file is, you're going to want a higher radius. Now folks, I'm going to stop here and say there is no right or wrong way to do this. There is no correct amount of sharpening or appropriate amount of sharpening to apply to an image. Generally, I think less is more with my pictures, but like I said, to each their own. And you do it ever how you want, but just know the higher you increase the radius, which I'm going to do right now, the more relief you're going to see come out in your picture, and that is going to translate to more sharpening And like I said, you can overdo this in my opinion, but just explore, play with it. That's the beauty of Photoshop. It's all non-destructive, so you're not gonna ruin anything. Just see how a smaller radius works and how a larger radius works. Generally, you're gonna wanna keep that bad boy around 1. 1 is a good starting point. See how it looks here. You're gonna wanna I'm gonna set it back to 0, or 0.1 essentially. You're gonna want to look at your little thumbnails right here above the radius and see, you can move this around the picture. Find a nice spot where you can see high contrast area. Set that all the way down, and then I like to go just far enough to where I start seeing a little bit of that relief. You can see it on the thumbnail. You can't see it a whole lot here on the whole picture. See it a little bit there now. I'm going with 0.7, and we're going to hit OK. Again, it looks horrible. You're not done. Step 2, we're going to take a look at our blending layer. We're going to go down to overlay, and believe it or not, you're actually done. I know there's a third step I mentioned. You don't actually have to do that. This is what's called global sharpening, and this will sharpen your entire image. But here in just a second, after I show you the close-up of the before and after sharpening, I'm going to show you how to selectively mask and apply your sharpening to only the areas that you want. So let's take a closer look, then we'll talk about masking. Going to zoom way in here. Hold down space bar and then drag your mouse around, a little extra hint, to move your picture around when you're zoomed in. So this is the sharpened picture. Why not? I'm not driving. Let's go really close. I think Leia's about to bark. It's okay, baby. Christ. So really zoomed in here. We're at 293%. The sharpening has been applied. I'm just going to turn our little eyeball on and off, and you can see the effect. Very subtle, but definitely there. Again, it's like a good haircut, which I don't have to worry about much anymore, but you should notice it slightly, but not know that anything's really been changed. So the high pass filter, great way to apply sharpening. Like I said, if you don't want to do anything else here, shut the video off, say goodbye, you're absolutely done. That is global sharpening with a high pass filter in Photoshop. Export, save, do whatever you do. If you want to really kick it up to the next level, well then stay here, folks. I hate it when people say kick it to the next level. What's happening to me? Okay, so turn our sharpening back on, and we have the entire picture sharpened. But let's say, I really don't want to sharpen anything that's essentially out of focus. It's, in my opinion, useless to sharpen things that are out of focus, because you're only going to be adding noise. You're going to be increasing the grain, which may be a good or bad thing to you, but only sharpen the areas that you need to. And this is especially true in portraiture, things like that. So in shallow depth of field pictures. So we have our duplicated background layer, essentially our sharpening layer, our high pass layer that has the high pass filter applied to it. We are going down and clicking our little mask, layer mask button, and we're going to add a mask to that. Again, this is not going to be a lesson about masking in Photoshop, how black conceals, white reveals, that kind of stuff. There's tons of stuff out there on that, folks. I'll do an episode on that if you want it. But essentially what we're going to do is paint in or paint out our sharpening. In our case, I'm just going to paint in the sharpening here on this rock, these rocks and this piece of wood. So we have our high pass filter applied. What I'm going to do, be sure the mask is selected. It may be black or white, depending on what your default mask setting is. So be sure that that mask is selected on the layer, the little white corners on the square. We're going to use the keyboard shortcuts again, guys. This is on a Mac. Going to hit Command I. That will invert that mask. If you're on a Windows PC, hit Control I. It's going to do the same thing. So essentially that's going to take the mask off, but leave the layer activated. That's very important. So be sure your eyeball is on and you hit the Control or Command I. That inverts the layer, and now we can paint our sharpening in. So let's zoom in so we can see what we're doing here. So this is the original picture with no sharpening. And it doesn't matter now if we click the eyeball or not, because we have it inverted, and essentially we're going to rub away the mask and bring out the sharpening. Be sure that your opposite layer mask is set here. Again, we have a black layer mask that's concealing the high pass filter, concealing the sharpening. So we're going to paint out with a white mask. If that was white, we would change the brush to black. It's not intuitive, but if you do it enough, it's gonna click. So we select our brush and make it where you can see it. Really zoom in here, and now we can paint in our sharpening. Look right here. I'm just going to hold down, click, and you can see that sharpening being applied very selectively with our brush. And you see over here in the corner, that's showing a little spot of white. That means we're painting out that black mask, and we can just paint in anywhere we want. Now I'm gonna zoom in real quick before we do the rest. Turn the mask on and off. And you can see right here in this area that sharpening has been applied, and that's the only place that sharpening has been applied by the high pass filter. Right here, nothing else has been affected. And we're gonna go in really quick, quick and dirty. I can actually do this with one click if I wanted to. Make that brush really wide, and boom, there you go. Just paint that in. You can go back in, folks, and clean this up. That's the beauty of the mask. You can go in around these little nooks and crannies and really clean up that sharpening to where it's only applied here to the contours. And to do that, you just reverse your mask to black. So we're essentially painting the mask back on, and you just go around the little corners where you don't want the sharpening and paint it back out. That is that tremendous versatility of the high pass filter, folks, and really that is it. There's a few other things we can do. I can actually show you how to do the opposite of the high pass filter, or the opposite of sharpening with the high pass filter. That is absolute magic for touching up blemishes in skin, to smoothing out skin in portraiture. Super easy, essentially one more step. Let me know down in the comments if you want to see that, and you know, I aim to please. Oh, one more thing. Oh, what's that? Yeah, the original, the paterfamilias, the classic Camera Jockey Clothiers polo is back in business, folks. So I guess in a way it never left. I've just been neglecting the Camera Jockey Clothiers store. So this is gonna be down there at the bottom. Take a look, Camera Jockey Clothiers. I'm gonna start adding stuff back on, the designs. A lot of weird stuff, a lot of cool stuff for somewhat eccentric photographers among us. And on that note, folks, thanks everybody for hanging with me here. Took a little hiatus from the YouTubes for a while for multiple reasons, but I want to try to start uploading more regular stuff like this, little short tips and tricks that sometimes I think are commonplace, but I realize as well that they're not that well known to everybody. So if you have any suggestions, anything you want to know about post-processing, smaller things, just let me know. We'll do these little short lessons. Until then, folks, thanks so much for being here, and we'll see you in the next one.